I feel a lot of people had the same experience as me growing up playing Minecraft on an old computer. So when Minecraft first came out in the early stages, everyone that played it, at least that I knew growing up, used like their family's home computer, which most of them at the time were not good at all. I remember me, for example, specifically, I used my laptop, and then we also had a desktop at home, and both were just god awful. I think for a lot of people in that era, when the game first came out, everyone was mostly a console player for the most part, because back in like 2009, 2010, PC gaming wasn't nearly as big as it was now. Xbox and PS3 were doing so good, and I think that no one really had a reason to own a PC back then except for like really like niche games, in my opinion. What I have loaded up now is beta Minecraft 1.8.1. This was actually the version of the game that I started off on. And I remember watching YouTubers, seeing the cheery Minecraft alpha, bright green grass, and the, comfy terrain of, the beta versions before this one. Beta 1.8.1 was actually the first version that introduced sprinting, the adventure update and all that, and the terrain drastically changed to mimic more of a real life kind of scenario. But for me, I started the game up, got on, and launched the game, and it wouldn't work. I couldn't move. It was so laggy. I looked into it. I knew nothing about computer gaming. Like I said, first actual real computer game that I ever played. But yeah, I finally got to a point where I was able to learn about this. You could change the settings and all that. I know this sounds so elementary, but I mean, I was like 10 or 11 at the time. And this was all new to me. So I remember I didn't even know how to use the controls. I used the arrow keys because I thought that's how you did it instead of the WASD keys. But yeah, it was quite the experience. So I remember getting into my first world, and it looked kind of something like this. And to be honest with you, I was genuinely terrified just looking out into seeing this fog like this. Like, you go under a tree and it gets all dark. Like, this made the game the atmosphere completely different than, traditional with the clouds. And I mean, we'll do a live example. I mean, you go to far render distance. I know the graphics are down still, but I mean, everything looks nice and you can see the sun and you got all this nice stuff. But it really does, I don't know what I'm doing there, change the game. Like this is just, you just think about what could be lurking out in the fog and all this stuff, and when it gets dark, it's just pitch black, especially with this low render distance. But a little back up into creative to illustrate another point. You might think, wow, I'm on, just normal terrain here, just tiny render distance and all still. Can't see anything, whatever. Just walking around, you don't know anything. To come lo and behold that, you're over here and you're actually looking out into just a huge open, you're on top of a hill. Like, obviously you're going up, but at some point you kind of just lose track because you can't see anything. And then just this huge, just open area where like you would never have known, and you'd just be standing here like into this just abyss of like what could be down here. The younger you are, the more your brain plays tricks on you, like what could be down there, what could this and that. You can't see anything, which I'm kind of nostalgic for playing the game like that, honestly, because it was just such a different and unique way to play. Kind of the piggyback off the last point in regards to like caves and stuff, it just made the cave so much more scary. I mean, you can barely see that creeper moving in and out of the fog over there. You go in, you just have no clue what's in front of you, run face first into something. This cave really isn't that big. It's more like a hole in the side of a mountain, but it kind of like that, like the whole, just the darkness of it. Like, you come out and it's light, but you go in, it's just like, I don't know. I just thought it was, like, looking back, like when I was in them playing it, I didn't like it because I couldn't see anything. But then like now looking back, it's like the game was just, it had a little aspect to it that kind of made it fun, where it's like kind of creepy, kind of scary. Wanted to look at another example here on the beta server here. Yeah, that's you can see, look down there, it just looks like fog, like what is going on down there. I know I'm kind of reiterating the same points over and over again, but I think it's just interesting to look at these examples. This one I think is pretty cool. I know the water's hard to see it regardless of your settings, but you can still see the fog like above the water in this underground thing I have built here. Definitely creepy. So this is my house on the beta server I've been working on, or at least some sort of building. And you can see how a very nice house on a nice little riverside here can turn into quite the creepy thing. I think the water is such a cool point because, like, I don't know, like my mind goes to like, oh my god, like what's lurking out in the water and all that. And you can just see like the stuff, like the mobs just pop in. It's kind of like, it's sometimes, like I said with the caves, it can kind of be like a jump scare, honestly. Like this bridge area on the tiny render distance, because like you move back and forth, you could see it fade away, like, you know, what's going to be on the other side. I don't know if you guys ever played Silent Hill 2 on the PlayStation 2, like that game, like, took advantage of like the lower end systems to have it like mimic, like not mimic, like, but have the same feeling as this, because the fog in that game, you just keep walking and load like that and stuff would just creepy, you know, scary that would pop in. So I think the take home message of this video was how such a simple game that's like not scary at all can have, like, you know, add in the elements of like the cave noises and all that with this, and can just become scary for no reason whatsoever, especially when you were younger. And I think for me, like, if it wasn't for this, like, I would not be into the computer gaming and doing all, like, even gaming even as much as I am today without this experience, because it taught, because then I started looking into computers, like what kind of computer can run Minecraft, and like that's kind of dumb to say now, but back in the day it was, you know, all new to me, and I know probably a lot of people had a similar experience. But, you know, if it wasn't for this tiny render distance, I don't think I'd be here today in regards to, like, gaming. Like, it really created like a lifelong hobby for me with, like, building computers and all that. I think I talked about that in another video before, but I kind of wanted to make the own video about it today, in more depth and just show some examples. But yeah, hopefully you guys all had a great day, great week so far. Tomorrow's Friday, thank God. But, you know, join Discord. We got a lot of people joining Discord now. Like I said in the last video, we're going to get the people joining in on, get the new names added to the beta server. So if you want to know how to do that, you just join Discord, you know, get well known, interact in that, and then you probably can join the server. So I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate this. Hopefully you guys found this video interesting. I know I did. And with that being said, God bless you all and have a great day.